HOA Karen's voice sliced through the air like a chainsaw, her spittle nearly hitting the cashier's face. You think I'm stupid, kid? This coupon's valid, and you're gonna honor it, or I'll have your job. The grocery store, a cramped mom-and-pop shop on the edge of town, was no stranger to drama. But tonight, HOA and her sisters, Lynn and Mai, were rewriting the script for chaos. HOA, the ringleader, loomed over the counter, her oversized frame casting a shadow on the trembling cashier, 17-year-old Tim, who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. Her sisters flanked her, their matching perms and gaudy jewelry glinting under the fluorescent lights, each adding their own venom to the tirade. The coupon in question faded. Dog-eared slip for 50 cents off a box of cereal was clutched in Hoa's manicured claws, waved like a battle flag. Tim, barely a month into his first job, stammered, "Ma'am, I'm sorry, but the coupon expired last week." "I can't." "Expired." HOA screeched, her voice hitting a pitch that made the glass jars on the shelf rattle. "You're lying. You're just too lazy to scan it properly." Lynn chimed in, her voice dripping with disdain. "This is why kids these days can't hold job zero work ethic." Mai, the quietest but no less vicious, leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. "We're not leaving until you fix this, boy." The lone customer in the store, a middle-aged man named Carl, stood frozen in the canned goods aisle, clutching a tin of beans. He'd seen Karens before, but this trio was a storm. He wanted to intervene, to tell them to back off, but the sheer intensity of their attack kept him rooted. Tim's hands shook as he tried to explain again, his voice barely above a whisper. "I checked with my manager. It's not valid. Please, I'm just doing my job." Hoa's face twisted into a sneer, her chins quivering with indignation. "Your job? Your job is to serve customers, not to scam us. I bet you're keeping the discount for yourself, aren't you?" She slammed the coupon on the counter, knocking over a jar of pens. The clatter echoed in the small store, amplifying the tension. Tim flinched, his eyes darting to the security camera above. He didn't know it yet, but that little red light was his lifeline. Unbeknownst to the Karen sisters, the store's owner, Mr. Nguyen, had recently upgraded the security system. After a string of shoplifting incidents, he'd installed cameras that streamed live to the local police station, a precaution that was about to turn the tables. The feed was already catching every word, every gesture, every bead of sweat on Tim's forehead. Lynn, sensing Tim's hesitation, leaned in closer, her perfume overwhelming. "You're gonna regret this, kid. We know the owner. One call, and you're out on the street." Mai pulled out her phone, pretending to dial, her smirk daring Tim to defy them further. HOA, emboldened, grabbed a box of cereal from the counter and shoved it toward Tim. "Scan it. Now, or I'll make sure everyone in this town knows what a crook you are." Tim's heart pounded. He was just a kid, trying to save up for college, not equipped to handle this level of hostility. His eyes welled up, but he refused to cry in front of them. "I'm sorry," he whispered, his voice cracking. "I can't." That was the breaking point. HOA lunged forward, snatching the scanner from the counter and attempting to scan the coupon herself. "If you won't do it, I will," she bellowed. The machine beeped angrily, rejecting the expired code. Enraged, she threw the scanner down, cracking its plastic casing. Carl, still in the aisle, finally found his voice. "Hey, that's enough. Leave the kid alone." HOA whipped around, her eyes blazing. "Mind your own business, old man," she spat. "Unless you want to be next." Lynn and Mai laughed, their cackles echoing like a pack of hyenas. Carl, undeterred, stepped closer, his voice steady. "You're bullying a teenager over a 50-cent coupon. You should be ashamed." The confrontation escalated as HOA jabbed a finger at Carl, her voice a venomous hiss. "You don't know who you're messing with. We run this town." It was a lie, of course. The sisters were notorious, but not for power, only for complaints, returns, and endless demands for discounts. Their reputation preceded them, and not in a good way. What they didn't know was that Officer Ramirez was already watching the live feed at the police station 3 blocks away. The moment HOA threw the scanner, He grabbed his keys and radioed for backup. "We've got an assault in progress at Nguyen's grocery," he said, his voice calm but urgent. The feed showed everything: Hoa's tantrum, Lin's threats, Mai's complicity. It was a prosecutor's dream. Back at the store, Tim was on the verge of breaking. He wanted to run, to hide in the back room, but the sisters blocked his path. Hoa, sensing his weakness, doubled down. "You're going to scan this coupon, or I'll make your life hell," she screamed, grabbing another Itimo loaf of bread and throwing it at the counter. It hit Tim's arm, and he stumbled back, tears finally spilling over. Carl had had enough. He pulled out his phone and started recording, his voice booming. "I'm filming this. You're assaulting a kid over a coupon. This is going viral." The sisters froze for a moment, their bravado faltering. Hoa recovered quickly, sneering. "Go ahead, post it. No one cares about some nobody cashier." But someone did care. The police cruiser pulled up outside, its lights flashing silently through the store's windows. Officer Ramirez stepped in, his presence commanding instant silence. "Ladies," he said, his tone deceptively calm, "step away from the counter. Now." Hoa's jaw dropped, her confidence evaporating. "This is outrageous," she sputtered. "We're the victims here. This kid tried to scam us." Lin and Mai nodded vigorously, their faces a mix of shock and defiance. Ramirez didn't flinch. "We've got the whole thing on camera," he said, pointing to the blinking red light. "And it's been streaming to the station. You're under arrest for assault and property damage." The sisters' faces drained of color. Hoa tried to argue, her voice shrill. "This is a setup. You can't do this." But Ramirez was already cuffing her, his movements swift and practiced. Lin and Mai, realizing the gravity of their situation, started backpedaling, claiming they were just supporting their sister. It didn't matter. The camera had caught them all. As the officers led the trio out, Tim sank to the floor behind the counter, his hands shaking. Carl knelt beside him, offering a reassuring pat on the shoulder. "You did good, kid. You stood your ground." Tim nodded, still processing the ordeal. The store felt eerily quiet now, the only sound the hum of the refrigerator units. The next day, the story spread like wildfire. The local news ran a segment titled, "Karen's Sisters Caught on Cam," complete with clips from the security footage. The town was abuzz, but not with sympathy for the sisters. People rallied around Tim, leaving tips and kind notes at the store. Mr. Nguyen, the owner, gave Tim a raise and a week off, calling him the bravest cashier I've ever had. For Hoa, Lin, and Mai, the consequences were swift and brutal. Charged with assault, property damage, and public disturbance, they faced fines and community service. Their reputations, already shaky, were shattered. The town's social media groups lit up with memes and mocking posts, their faces plastered across every platform. They'd wanted attention, and they got it, just not the kind they'd hoped for. Hoa, once so proud of her ability to intimidate, found herself shunned. The sisters' regular haunts, coffee shops, nail salons, even the local diner turned them away, tired of their antics. The coupon that started it all, that crumpled 50-cent slip, became a symbol of their downfall, a reminder that arrogance and cruelty come with a price. Tim, meanwhile, found strength he didn't know he had. He returned to work, head held high, no longer just the nobody cashier. He'd faced the storm and come out stronger, a quiet hero in a small-town saga. As for the Karen sisters, they learned a hard lesson. The world doesn't bend to your tantrums, and sometimes the cameras are watching. The end.